menopause?
It's a hormonal changes that you go through when you reach a certain stage in life, or changes within the body rather than certain stage in life, because it might come on at an early stage than the norm age that people expect.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did anybody hear that?
Yeah.
Menopause is when your body stops producing eggs and you stop having a period.
Yes.
It's clinically diagnosed as being in the menopause when you stop having a period for 12 months consecutively.
Absolutely. Basically, no period for 12 months. But before, we talk about perimenopause, the lady mentioned it before. So before you actually get into menopause, it usually starts between the ages of 45 to 55, but some people actually start younger. Nowadays, people are starting a lot younger, and that can be brought on by surgery, it can be brought on by various illnesses, and you know, it depends what type, you know, what age your parents or mother, grandparents started their menopause, but a lot more people are starting younger than 45. They're starting very early, earlier in their early 40s. Some people are going to start, but it's rare, in their 30s. You know, premature menopause, we call that. But the perimenopause, we start to experience symptoms at least, you know, months, sometimes years before we actually come into the menopause. So the menopause, the perimenopause, is all the stuff that your body's preparing you beforehand. Who's familiar with brain fog? Anybody familiar with? Thank you. Anybody familiar with not being able to find their keys, their phone, mood swings? Raise your hands, thank you. Talk to me, because it's real. Mood swings, crying for no particular reason. Somebody just touches them. I don't know, saying one word and you're flying off the angle. Me. Not being able to mention people's names, not even the closest. That's only a few symptoms. As I said, it usually starts within 5 and 55. And it's basically, you've already touched on it, it's a depletion of what we call a sexual hormone called estrogen. Estrogen is very important as a sexual hormone, and doctors here will back me up and you can ask all the ins and outs and intricates of estrogen. It's gold dust. When our estrogen starts to depreciate, starts to reduce, it then affects our bodies hormonally, and these things start to happen. Think of a thermostat. And when it's hot, you turn your thermostat down. When it's cold, you turn it up. But if our bodies are out of kilter, then this is what's happening, because our estrogen levels are being reduced, they're depleting. And as we age, our estrogen become less. So a lot of people decide, I need more estrogen. And the other one, I'm difficult to say, progesterone. That's another one that we need. But the estrogen is really important. Now, men have estrogen and men have progesterone as well, but in different levels. And there is something called andropause, which is what the men have, is equivalent to our menopause, but it's not as serious, not more research about that. So yeah, we've got symptoms and it's affecting us. And most people suffer in silence. One, because they think it's them personally, it's something happening to them. They think it's just a part of life. Our parents would say, my mom used to say, my mom's now 94, and my family can attest to that. And they just say, oh, you will see, you will know. But know what? See what? What am I to know? What am I to see? Can somebody tell us? Perimenopause. Lots of signs. I think I felt some of the signs in my 40s. I was thrown into early menopause when I had something called fibroids. Ask the doctor all about that. Yeah, and I was thrown into early menopause at about 42, 43 for 3 months. They gave me some medication so that I could shrink my fibroids, and they said you'd be thrown into menopause for 3 months. Thank God it was only 3 months. I came out of it after that. But I probably went into perimenopause at the age of about 45. Now I won't tell you my age now. Young, 21, are we all? But the signs and the symptoms, we're going to do a checklist in about 5 minutes. We were going to do it later, but we'll do it after this. And some of the symptoms were just excruciating. Now, 20%, because I know this by heart, so I can tell you, 20% of women may suffer what we call just mild symptoms or very little symptoms at all. Between 40 and 60% suffer what we call mild to medium symptoms levels. But 20% excruciating levels and symptoms, which means that it affects their everyday work, it affects them in their everyday living. It affects them routinely, just getting out of bed or not getting out of bed. It affects their moods, it affects their family, it affects their work, it's affecting every single area of their life. And as a result of that, a lot of women end up leaving work because our managers may not understand what's going on, and again they've personalised it. Oh, it's you. Because you can't see menopause, but you feel it, don't we? We might not see it on our faces and we try to cover up, we may try to pretend because we want to make a show or just to be normal at work and when we're with friends and family. But you know, you close that door, you're suffering those symptoms. Joint pain. Who has joint pain? Wrist, knees. Joint pain. There's another one called vaginal dryness. Now, you don't have to show your hands for that one. But you know, not easy. And the men might not understand that.
Oh God.
They might think, oh, you just don't want sex, you're not up for it. But these are real symptoms. You know, there's lots of creams, lots of different things you can use. But these are real pain. This is real pain and real symptoms that people are going through. And it's not very nice. And then skin issues. Where's our skin specialist? Hey! Give a wave! You know, your skin may suffer from more acne, less acne. Physical symptoms, you may actually lose weight or gain weight. For me, I was doing both. I mean, I eat a lot. People might not believe me, but I do eat a lot. But at one stage, I was putting on weight, then I was losing weight. My skin was getting clearer, but then it was getting duller, and there was lots of, growing up I always had lots of acne with extremely greasy skin, and I just put that down to, oh, it's just life. But it was hormonal changes that I'd been going through and didn't know. So you may be able to sort of identify with some of these symptoms, and we'll do a checklist in a minute to see where you stand. This is our checklist, and I'll add them out. And for you to actually look and see what signs and symptoms am I suffering from? Do I actually know it's related to menopause? Do I actually know that it's connected? Because a lot of women are not sure if it's connected to menopause or anything else going on in their lives. And usually it is, because if our body is out of kilter, if our body is imbalanced, then it may well be affected and related to menopause. Not always, there's usually some correlation, and it also depends what other health issues that you have or that might be experiencing. You see, we're not given a roadmap through this menopausal journey, are we? We're not given a roadmap, so nobody tells you, oh, you're going to get to this age, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get to this age, and this is what's going to happen to you. Because we're all individuals, and all our experiences are very different. There are some similarities, like brain fog, memory loss, joint pain. So there are some similarities, but we may all suffer them in different ways or experience them in different ways. So how many of us actually talk to people about menopause? Show of hands. You shared. Anybody else? Good. So when you talk to people about that, what do you say? What do you say to them?
Me? Well, it depends on what the conversation, how the conversation's going. So because I'm a nutritionist, I pretty much talk about the foods that can help to reduce some of the symptoms of menopause. And usually women are really suffering from the hot flushes. That's the thing that really gets them, because you know, in your 50s you're still working, and it can be very embarrassing. You're in the middle of a meeting, and then all over a sudden you're reaching for the tissues, and you're completely drenched. So a lot of my conversation is around that, but I specialise more in perimenopause.
Okay.
But if I'm talking about menopause, that's the one thing that people are really struggling with, and gaining weight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd certainly agree with that. The hot flushes. I think even Oprah Winfrey had something to say about that. And yourself?
Yeah, well, my girlfriend's perimenopausal age, so we kind of say our periods are skippy. So, oh gosh, I've not had a period this month. Oh God, oh maybe I've stopped. Then it will come on out of the sink, and you talk about pains in your back, feeling a bit tired, you get a bit of brain fog as well, and just trying to comprehend what's happening to yourself, you know. And we do experience hot flushes, sometimes a bit ratty as well, with everyone, you know, so that's what we talk about. So we're not quite menopausal yet, because as we know now, it's 12 months without a calendar period, basically, but we're having sporadics, maybe one miss a month too, so that's what we talk about.
Absolutely, so into the perimenopause
yes.
Doctor?
And when I see women, one of the things that bothers us very most is that they always had a busy life. They care for the kids, they care for the parents, they have a working life, and they were able to basically live with all those things quite happily until they hit the perimenopause. The hormones go up and down, and they suddenly feel that they are overwhelmed by situations that they could manage. And that the threshold to get that anxiety, that is like palpitation, that it basically goes down. So, and that can have a lot of impact on your self-esteem and in how to deal with things and cope. So that's I think a major thing that most women don't realize that it can be good, because to those kind of erratic up and down hormonal changes that happen just before the menopause, and then after the menopause things start to settle, and it depends, but I just wanted to emphasize that.
Thank you. Great to see you. Just say your name so everybody knows who you are.